Hi, I'm Alison and
And I'm Taylor.
And we're the hosts of the Anxiety Chicks podcast, where we dive deep into the reality of anxiety, nutrition, and mental health.
Listen as we explore all things anxiety healing while keeping it real, including our own struggles with mental health.
We'll bring our expertise as healing professionals to the conversation while discussing the tools and strategies you need to heal the anxious mind.
Listen to the Anxiety Chicks on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Anxiety Chicks podcast. I'm Alison and
And I'm Taylor. And today is really interesting, I would say very specific topic for anybody who struggles with anxiety and maybe specifically health anxiety. But we are going to talk about the fear behind taking vitamins, and not just vitamins, like supplements, we can even say like medication, the fear of taking something that you've never taken before. And the goal of this episode, I want to state, is to explore the intense fears many people with health anxiety feel around taking vitamins or supplements, and to validate, unpack, and provide calming tools for any of you guys who are listening who feel paralyzed by the fear of side effects, allergic reactions, or what if this makes me feel worse or weird. If you just heard that little snippet and you said, this is me, hello, I'm Taylor. I relate to you so much because I personally went through this. And for me, it's funny. I think back to when I was a kid, I actually struggled to swallow pills. So I could never swallow pills.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know. I would just get like a block and I wouldn't do it. But then I finally got over it. And I would say around like 5th grade or 6th grade. And then I got put, and I've talked about this before, I got prescribed a birth control and ADHD medication. And the birth control was actually the one you saw on the infomercials on TV that are like, hey, if you have had a blood clot and died from this medication, like here's legal treatment. And I'm like, watching this, like I remember being on it, having severe panic disorder, seeing that commercial and being like, I am getting off of this right now. I remember I like ran to my doctor and I was like, dude, you guys gave me this medication and nobody told me any of this. Like nobody told me or tested my blood work to see if I had like any risk of clotting. I remember just going in and it was like a male doctor too, on top of it all.
I mean,
so of course he didn't care.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. But yeah, I remember just having this moment where I was like so shocked. Like it was this one moment that hit me that I got to advocate for myself and I have to really be vigilant about what I take and what I do, because also when I had my first really big panic attack, I think it was correlated to the high dose of Adderall and Vyvanse I was prescribed. I know it had a part in playing it in that. So I just had this big realization moment. And Alison, I don't know if you have any past with just like kind of one day it randomly hitting you that crap, I have to advocate for myself. Like this is scary.
I mean, well, I was just shaking my head for anyone that's not watching on YouTube because, it's just like disbelief that. And how old were you when you got prescribed?
That was in college. Oh, no, that was high school. I remember I was just like, not dumb, but I was so naive. I was naive to the world. And I remember my mom taking me. Yeah, my mom took me to the doctor. They asked me like 4 questions. They prescribed me the birth control, mind you, for hormonal acne. That was the route they took. Not let's get to the root cause of why you're having this and try and fix that. It was like, here's this. And of course, it worked great. My skin was beautiful, top notch. But for the risk of what? Like, I wasn't told anything. I answered literally verbal questions to a male doctor, and he said, here is Yaz. Here's Yaz birth control.
Okay, that's what I was trying to think of. I was trying to think of the name. Yes, it's Yaz. And I actually was on that too for a little while, but not until college. And oh my gosh, yeah, there's so many lawsuits now about it that, I mean, we like digress. I know we're talking about like vitamins and stuff today, but it's all, a lot of the fears are going to be, a lot of the fears are going to be similar as far as like taking pills, right? Like medication or supplements. But I definitely will say I never really struggled with the fear of like, what is this that I'm taking, right? But it was more of I have trouble swallowing pills too. And I get nervous, especially myself, and I live alone. I have this like really bad intrusive thought a lot of times that I'm just going to like choke on a pill and I'm alone.
Well, think about that one experience you had in the lobby where you felt in your throat like like it was like stuck. Like I'm sure you have that reaction of if I take this, then I could feel this way again if it gets stuck and I'm all alone.
100%. I mean, yeah. Even before that, I had a little bit of like a fear, but yes, after that now, and that was almost like more than 10, 15 years ago. And I think about that all the time. But, the good thing is though, and I don't know if we'll get into this or not, but there are different ways now that you can take certain supplements. Like I take my vitamin D in a liquid form. It's like I forget what they call it, but it's a liquid.
Sublingual,
Yes. Yes, yes, yes.
liposomal, yeah.
Yes. But I
Which, I
know
mean,
it's a
also
real
is
fear.
proven to be more bioavailable to the body, so props to you on that.
Great. Yay, it helps me.
There's actually, like, some tests you can do with pills. I'd have to look it up, but, like, an actual capsule, if you put it in a certain I don't know what the liquid combination is, but you can actually see, like, oh, this pill isn't even being absorbed or broken down into our bodies. There's so many pills in the market. I mean, that's the other thing. We'll touch on that too. The, like, supplement industry will really cause you anxiety if you really dive into it. But let's talk a little bit about the fear of vitamins and just kind of how maybe your past experience can lead into that. Because truly for me, I don't remember before that experience having an issue with the thought of a vitamin or having the issue with the thought of any of that. And I think for me, it was once I experienced anxiety and health anxiety, I developed a severe fear of feeling out of control, feeling not like myself, and feeling like if I take this, will I have some weird allergic reaction? What if I'm allergic to one of the ingredients in it? What if I'm allergic to magnesium and I don't even know it? What if it makes me feel so out of it? What if I feel high? What if I feel floaty? All these thoughts come to my head. And when you're saying that to yourself and you're thinking that beforehand, 9 times out of 10, even if you take the supplement, you might feel that way because you've already created this whole scenario in your brain. And let's also not talk about the physical and mental spiral you start to have when you think about it. So if someone tells you, hey, you should take this magnesium, it's really good for relaxing, sleep, anxiety, and then you go look up the supplement on Amazon or Reddit and you start reading everybody's experience on it.
My
You start
gosh.
looking into every single review,
That
every
that's
single
just as I'm
ingredient.
sorry. That's just as bad as going to, like, Doctor Google when you have a symptom. It's like the synonymous. Like, don't do that.
Especially with health anxiety, because you have a fear of the unknown happening inside your body. You can't, once you take that supplement, right? You have that fear of some unknown thing that just went into your body. And especially when you have a past experience with it, that's so valid, right? Like you feel scared of something happening again, or you feel scared of being out of control. So, say you have a history of being betrayed by your body. So, with past panic attacks, past medicine side effects, past trauma. I also took an antibiotic before and I had full body rash. So those things add up, like once you've had something, you fear it's going to happen again. It's just like panic attacks, like how I had a panic attack in PetSmart before. PetSmart didn't do anything to me, but it was just that fear of being in a situation at a store and it happening again. And so your brain keeps score of all those things.
Yeah, and honestly, if there's one thing that you can do that you are in control of when you start recognizing that you are having this fear response to taking a supplement, right? Just like if it's not a pill, do like lozenges, do anything. Do not obsessively read the reviews, like you said. Do not keep checking Reddit
You'll find
and
something
looking at
bad.
horror stories.
You will
Do not
find something
do
bad.
not inspect every ingredient 5 million times, right? Do not like hyperfixate on what your body's doing once you take this ingredient or take this supplement. Just don't. Okay? If there's one thing I'll start with, just really try and set your boundaries with that. Okay, go on.
Well, and she's right because I did that. I did that horribly. And I was having reactions to vitamins, guys. And I wasn't actually having reactions. I was having anxiety. And I correlated a lot of these things with symptoms of anxiety. I correlated vitamin D with a symptom of anxiety. I correlated magnesium with a symptom of anxiety. And then all of a sudden, all these really good things for my body were put on a do not take list. And that's sad because it wasn't actually a vitamin. Vitamins are not psychoactive, most guys, unless you're taking like an actual psychoactive vitamin.
Correct.
A vitamin isn't going to alter your brain enough to make you feel certain feelings and emotions. I don't know how to explain that, but like you're not going to take a vitamin D and feel floaty.
Well, let's just put a disclaimer in right here and say,
Yes.
we're not medical doctors, okay? Or I do not prescribe supplements. So I'd
I actually
always.
do, but
Perfect. Okay. But I would always say case by case, right? Like we don't know everybody's story and history with their brain health and what other medications they're on, because there are some
yes.
psycho active medications that are not, they don't interact well with certain supplements. So like you definitely want to talk to your doctor about your specific issues, right? Integrative doctor. I will say
Yes.
integrative doctor. Anyway, okay, go on.
No, Allison just made a good point. So, anytime you go to take a supplement or think about a supplement, she's so right. If you're on pharmaceuticals and stuff, you want to check. Like, if you're on an antidepressant, don't go just take St. John's wort and all those other supplements that can interact. So, anytime you go to take a new supplement, I think you should definitely go into druginteractions.com and put in that supplement and put in whatever prescription medication you're on, even if it's like a blood pressure medication, and check for the interactions for that. But what we're saying is, here, I'll give this example. I see clients all the time and I do blood work. I send people for blood work testing, a lot of holistic testing, and never once have I had a client have an allergic reaction to a very casual supplement like a vitamin D, a magnesium. Supplements we hear in a multivitamin. Think of a multivitamin. Think of every nutrient in a multivitamin. I've never had a client lose their mind from taking a multivitamin or an omega-3, or I've never had that. And mind you, I'm not prescribing pharmaceuticals, so I don't know about side effects to pharmaceuticals, but I'm talking supplements and vitamins. I've never had someone just lose their mind. And I think we feel that way when we struggle with anxiety. We have this really big fear of losing our mind and being out of control. I know that's how it is for me. Like, I never want to take something and feel like I'm going to just enter psychosis and develop a whole other disorder, you know? And that's where Reddit and reviews kind of plays into what Allison was saying, is because you don't know what somebody else is prescribed. You don't know if Billy down the street is on a blood pressure medication and also antipsychotic medication and sleeping pill. And then he took a vitamin D at the same time as all of that. And he said, I lost my mind when I took vitamin D. Like, you don't know that. And so that's where reviews can be really bad, because it doesn't tell a backstory and you don't know the person's motive. So I think the worst thing you can do is read reviews. However, let's talk about the supplement industry, because I think the supplement industry doesn't help us. I think that we are in a day and age where everybody wants to make a buck off of supplements because it's super underregulated and a lot is allowed. It's actually very sad. And I think that's why supplements and vitamins, they have the power to be health and wellness for us. They have the power of preventative care and disease. But unfortunately, it is full of just crap. Let's just say it's full of crap. There's a lot of crap out there. And
I was just going to ask you, can I just ask you a question real quick?
Huh?
Since you know a lot about certain vitamins, are there certain vitamins that have additives? And how do you know the ones, like, speaking of the industry, like how do you know the ones that don't have additives, that are like the most natural, I guess?
So I'll just say this right now. Anytime you go to take a supplement, go to the website. If there's not third-party testing and you can't find every single ingredient listed with testing, I want testing on each ingredient in the vitamin. Do not take it. Do not go. I'm going to just be real with you guys. Do not go to the grocery store and just buy whatever. Like, not that it's going to be bad for you. That's another thing. It's not that it's something that's horrible for you, going to do something bad to you. There's just a lot of times people are just literally excreting everything that they're taking. They're not absorbing. It is not going into their body. They're like, I know people who they get nutrient testing all the time and their vitamin D's low. They get on this high dose of vitamin D. They go get their vitamin D tested again. It's still low. And they're like, something's wrong with me. Why am I not absorbing this vitamin D? 9 times out of 10, they're just taking a supplement that they're not breaking down, or it isn't what it says it is. And a lot of times, I mean, you see this all the time, these overhyped claims on a lot of these products. You're not actually getting what it's saying, and that's scary. But also, I want to give a little piece of hope, is that there's really, really amazing companies and brands out there. And this is why I highly recommend working with somebody in integrative functional health or nutrition, a functional doctor or functional nutritionist. There's brands that are 100% science backed on their bioavailability to the body. And if you have anxiety, I just highly recommend sticking with those. A few off the top of my head: Thorne, Pure Encapsulations, Metagenetics. Like, those are just really good brands that they stick by their quality.
Can I ask you, I get my vitamin D and B from Designs for Health.
I've heard good things about them.
Okay. Yeah, because
But
my
I haven't personally looked into their website, but what I would do if I was you, after this podcast, is I would go to their website and I would want to see testing, literally updated testing always on every single supplement for everything.
Yeah, because that was my integrative, like, nutritionist I saw, doctor. This was years ago, though. I don't even remember what her credentials were, but she told me about that. Like, that's what she kind of prescribed or something, is that website. But the other ones, it's good to know. Okay, I'm gonna do that.
Yeah, like I have like Thorne. Can't even read those. Am I blind? I was just looking at all the vitamins I have up there. But like, truly, if you're really wanting to get serious about your health, first off, let me start actually small. Let's get more granular than this. Don't just go take something because you heard somebody else took it and it did wonders for them.
Yeah.
Highly recommend you start off with getting your blood work done, getting not just your blood work done, asking for a whole nutrition eval. I want to know all your nutrient levels. I don't want to just get a simple CBC that's going to tell me nothing, but I highly recommend just doing that. And I think also, if you struggle with anxiety, this is from personal experience too. When I saw with my own eyes that my nutrient levels were low, and when I read about having low vitamin D, what the harmful effects of having low vitamin D can be for you, I was motivated to want to take vitamin D, because when you read on that, you're like, I don't want to have low vitamin Ds. So when I read that, I'm like, I need to get my levels up. Like, I have to do it because the harm I'm causing myself from allowing my levels to stay low versus me facing this fear of taking this supplement and knowing it's going to benefit my health. I had to push through that. And so let's get into that kind of how we can get to that place. Because you're like, okay, Taylor, that sounds great. That sounds great. My vitamin D is low too. I feel so terrified. I'm actually paralyzed by the fear of even holding a vitamin D in my hand. I start panicking, because that was me too, guys. This is going to sound silly, but trust me, get you a kid dose, get you a children's dose. And I actually, back to what Alison was saying, get you a liquid dose, because liquid, you can supplement it and measure it as much as you want. So get you a kid dose, get you a liquid dose, and take a very tiny amount, like a tiny, tiny amount. And each day add on from there. You don't have to start with this 10,000 IUs of vitamin D and just see what happens, but start slow, start small, and don't go all in at once. Don't say, I'm going to start the supplement routine and pop 50 supplements in your mouth. Say, hey, this month I'm going to really work on my vitamin D levels. I really know I need to get them up, and it's something I've really wanted to do. Start with the kids dose, start slow, work your way up, and then I promise you, you're going to feel so proud of yourself. It's so silly. Like, does it sound silly to you, Allison?
No. Honestly, my mic was just off. I go between turning my mic off and on.
I know. I saw your
Sorry,
mouth
guys.
moving. You were like, yeah.
I know. I'm like, gosh, I'm like trying to do this because I don't want any background noise. But what I was saying was that is such a good idea. That's such a good idea. It's kind of like microdosing, right? When you think about it,
Yeah.
it is. It's microdosing your supplements. And why wouldn't you do that? And that's what I was thinking. Like, I have my vitamin D is the liquid, and then my vitamin B12 is a lozenge. So I put it under my tongue, and then it, just dissipates. So the only real take a probiotic that I do have to swallow, and like an immune support that I swallow, and a couple other things, and that's Just Thrive, which love, my fave. Use code for 20%
They're a really
off.
good company. They're a
Use
really
the
good
anxiety.
company, and they have really good testing, and they're very transparent.
Very transparent. Yes. And I think that, if you want 15% off, use code anxiety healer. I'll put the link down below, by the way. But anyway, I will say one of their pills is a little bigger, their immune support pills. And that is like a tougher one for me. I'm okay with it now, but I do love that they're like really the only two pills. And I don't know if there's another option. I guess I'm going to have to, this episode is so helpful for me even, but I'm okay with the pills I have now. But I can see that like one of the pills I have Like, maybe I should go get them and show you because it's big, it's intimidating. Like, it
That
is
is intimidating. If
you
you
know what I mean?
struggle with a fear of choking or
Yes.
acid
Or,
reflux
like,
or
when you
and that's another thing. If your stomach acid, if you feel your stomach is very I don't know, there's some studies proven that certain stomachs can take a vitamin and the way it's absorbed because of the capsulation or however it's made, you're better off with the liquid form. The if you can do the liposomal form of any vitamin, if you and you struggle with anxiety, I highly recommend it because one, you can microdose it. You can feel a little safer in your head that you can start small, journal any feelings you had. So start small, journal, see how you feel, and then remind yourself that you can stop at any time. There's no
Yeah.
sorry,
No,
what
I
am I saying?
I just wanna say that I think that that is something that if you are someone and one of your main symptoms when you're anxious or you start to panic is, like, your throat closing up. And remember, it's not really closing up, but you feel it. That is a symptom, right?
Mhm.
Your throat will never close up and you'll never die from a panic attack. That is a fact, but it feels very real. And so your muscles do get tense. So sometimes your throat does get tense when you're feeling anxious. I like that suggestion that you just
Yeah.
said.
And I think if you're going to take anything from this episode, if you struggle with the fear of vitamins, fear of supplements, and you think about it every day and you're someone who wants to be preventative and proactive about your health, you're probably a lot like me. I was the same way. I remember I used to get so mad because I'm like, I know this is good for me. I know I should be doing this, but I feel so scared and like I don't want to have a reaction. I don't want to feel weird. That's here's fear, here's what you want, and you just have to find a way to get through. It's the only way out. The only way is through, literally. And once you do it, you're going to feel so proud of yourself. So, here are the steps I would take. I would find a practitioner that you trust and that you feel will take all your blood work, find exactly what your body needs so you're not doing too much or too little because I think there's also a lot of supplements that kind of just try and throw it all in. And it's these high doses of like every single vitamin. And they just think, oh, you'll just excrete out whatever you don't need. But that also puts a lot more work on our kidneys and our liver. So I like to be just super specific. I like to know and that's how I am with my health. I like to know exactly what I need, exactly what I don't need. And then from there, you and your practitioner can create a safe supplement routine. So y'all can start small, like one or two. Be honest with your practitioner. Be like, I'm scared. I'm very nervous of having a reaction. I'm very nervous of feeling a certain way. Let's start small. Okay, these two labs are kind of your worst labs. I want to get these up. These seem more prominent to what your needs are. So let's start there. And then, like I said, find a kid's dose. Even do a little, like, you don't have to just do a liquid dose of an adult. Find a liquid dose of a kid's dose. Start small. And then show yourself, hey, look, I took this and I feel okay. And then once you add on, it's exposure therapy, guys. That's a lot of what we talk about. And over time, it gets easier. You feel so proud of yourself, and you're doing so much to help your health. Like there is so much our diet. I'm so passionate about this because almost everyone I know has leaky gut syndrome, including myself, guys. Like I have been through the ringer with this. When I tell people some of my blood work, they're shocked because they're like, you're so healthy. And I'm like, guys, that's the issue. We're in 2025. Our soil isn't what it used to be. And I'm not trying to scare everybody. We just have to work harder. And that's why it's really cool also in 2025 that we have these supplements and we have this ability to help ourselves with what we're lacking in our diet. And so I would start there and I would not give up on yourself. You can face the fear. You are strong enough and you will be so proud of yourself because I was too. And I found so much hope and healing in taking supplements too. I mean, such a difference in myself.
I think that if you can really just find support through it all, that's a huge factor. Like, I remember when I started the whole journey of even learning about supplements, and I did have a lot of anxiety just about trying anything new, putting anything new in my body is scary. I hired someone like you to literally walk me through. She did the panels for me and walked me through what she thought, how she thought I should start and what might be best based on not just my blood work, but I had a very good history of, like, I had a very good awareness of the history of my anxiety and my mental health and my emotional response to things. And you have to remember the mind and the body are connected, right? So all of that's why integrative healthcare is so important, because she got a really well-rounded view of what I was struggling with. And a lot of it was gastrointestinal, of course. And so you talk about leaky gut. I definitely have that or had that or whatever. I also started exploring, this is going on like a little tangent, but something called Candida and
Oh yeah.
also
Everybody,
SIBO.
almost everybody I see has it. It's really sad. I hold empathy in my heart for like everybody because you see all these people that are like, why do I feel this way? Why am I so bloated? Why do I look 9 months pregnant? Why am I having acid reflux? I eat so healthy. I eat vegetables. I eat fruit. I try and not eat all the bad stuff. I mean, some people are literally, if what they're saying to me is true, they work their butts off to be healthy and they're still dealing with stuff because once you have that candida, SIBO, all those things, it's really tough. And like even with SIBO, you have a lot of toxins releasing into your bloodstream. Like that's kind of what's happening there. That can really,
Hashimoto's, that's another
yep,
one, right?
yeah, yeah, a lot of autoimmune.
Autoimmune.
We're seeing so much of that. It's sad. It's sad. But there is healing. That's the good news. Is like there's so much education. We don't have to feel like crap every day. If you're listening to this and you're like, I'm so sick and tired of feeling like crap. I'm so sick and tired of being an anxious person who is so scared of taking a step forward in my health. Take this as your sign because I was scared too. And I understand, especially if you have trauma, especially if you've been screwed over by Western medicine and felt like you just failed everything. Don't give up on yourself.
I love that. And I just want to, just want to add on and just say how important it is that to remember that supplements are just one part of your toolkit, right? So just like pharmaceutical medications, they are one part of your toolkit. Okay. So don't think that you're going to take certain vitamin D and all of a sudden you're not going to have clinical depression if you do, right? If you're diagnosed with that, like that's not what we're saying. Like that's not how this process works. So it's one part of your toolkit. And so you have to remember, like, just like pharmaceutical medications, if you're starting something and you give it a good try and you face your fear of swallowing that pill or doing whatever, trying something new. And after a little while, you really just feel like maybe you're playing detective of yourself. I always like to say that. You see that maybe it's not working for you. You can stop at any time. You do not
Yes.
need to stay on it. Just like anyone that's on any medication that's from pharmaceutical company as well. Like you don't need to stay on anything you don't want to, okay? It might take a little while to figure out what works for you. That's okay. So maybe you want to like dive into your other parts of your toolkit, right? Like, and all of those self-regulation tools and techniques that I talk about all the time and that we both talk about, what really helps to soothe yourself and regulate your nervous system and activate the parasympathetic part and all of that work you do on a daily basis, you want to still incorporate all of that stuff into your life along with some supplements, right? So you have to remember too that that's important along with therapy and cognitive work. So make sure that you work on that regulation part too and be kind to yourself and just remind yourself that you can stop at any time if you want, right? And give yourself grace. Like that's a huge piece of this.
I think even with supplements, I've had clients who take their supplements to their therapy sessions.
Oh my gosh, such a good
And
idea.
they've found that super helpful. I've actually had a client who took a supplement at the beginning of their therapy session and they worked through it. Like
That's
they were like scared of
amazing.
vitamin D and they took it and they went to their session and they took it together. Like she took it with her therapist
Yeah.
and they talked through exactly what she was thinking and feeling. And it was honestly like amazing.
Yeah. I've done similar stuff like that when I was in some sessions like over
So
the
that's
last
another
couple of
thing you can
years.
take.
So
Bring your
yeah,
supplements to your therapist. Maybe say, hey,
100%.
let's do this together.
If anyone is interested in wanting to do that, of course, contact
Allison's
me
going to start the
and
supplement
I can
experimenting
help.
sessions.
I will help you 100%. Shoot me a DM. I love that. So I would say my healing tip this week is to challenge yourself. First of all, do some research when it comes to supplements if you're interested in that, right? But challenge yourself, right? If you feel like you've already had really good help and support from like an integrative doctor, I would say, and maybe you have something in front of you, right? And you're just like, okay, I've been wanting to try this magnesium. I want you to challenge yourself a little bit. Do what Taylor did. Taylor said about starting really, really slow and starting with a really low dose of something, microdosing it. But I want you to try and challenge yourself and know that the voice that you're hearing in your head that's trying to scare you away from something is not you, right? Recognize the voice that knows how to trust yourself. That's really who you are. And I don't think we trust ourselves enough. I think it's really hard when it comes to something like this to trust ourselves and that we know best. And we do. And it will not hurt you. It really won't. So that would be my tip, is just challenge yourself. That's kind of my tip every single week, but especially this week.
I love that. Challenge yourself. You can do hard things.
Yes.
Okay, guys, we will see y'all next week. Have a great rest of your week.
Bye, guys. Thanks so much for hanging out with us today.
We hope this episode reminded you that you're not alone and healing is always possible.
If something we shared helped you, the best way to support the show is to leave a review or share this episode with a friend who needs it.
And make sure you're following us on Instagram at The Anxiety Chicks for more support between episodes.
We're just two chicks on our own healing journeys, cheering you on every step of the way.
Until next time,
take a deep breath. You've got this.